Hey guys, it's Rachel from the Little Green Lamb, and today I have my November book haul. A lot of these books I ordered in October, but there was one pre-order that, still hasn't got here yet. They keep changing the dates around on when it's going to be pushed. Like, it keeps pushing to the 16th, then back to the 1st. It's very confusing, but I'm just going to let you know, somewhere in this book haul what that book is. And yes, before we get into the book haul, or like the books I ordered, I have a few books. I have a book that I picked up and a book that I won. The first one is The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I won an ARC of this off of Goodreads, and I was really excited because I loved everything I read it earlier this year. And this book, as far as I'm concerned, is about a girl whose family is going to be deported to Jamaica, yeah. And she kind of falls in love with this guy, and it's like love at first sight, but there's lots of stuff that happens. I don't really want to know too much going into this because I've been trying to read my books more blind because I'm always like looking at the back, like I'll be halfway through the book and I'll be reading the back, but I'm trying to be better about that because sometimes it's just refreshing to go into books blind. The next book I picked up was The Amateurs by Sarah Shepard. My book review of this was posted a few days ago. I absolutely loved it. It's the first book in a new series by the Pretty Little Liars author Sarah Shepard. It has Veronica Mars and Gone Girl vibes. It's very good, a very nice compact mystery with so many twists and turns. Then on to the books I ordered. I made an order to Chapters, and I was really looking into their bargain section and also like some new releases and stuff like that. I was really looking in the bargain section because sometimes I just feel like I want to read books that I don't hear talked about a lot. Maybe it's just because the demographic on YouTube is slightly younger and a lot of people are reading YA. I know there's a lot of people that aren't, but the masses seem to be reading YA a lot. And I do really still enjoy YA, but like I like to venture into more general fiction and some nonfiction and that kind of thing. So I picked up a few books from the bargain section that kind of were applicable to that. I feel like they have a way better bargain selection online than in the store I go to. Even though it is a pretty big store, sometimes it's just like the same old stuff, where online it seems like they're getting new choices. Sorry, I was just looking out the window. There's a big truck and it's like flipping the back and I can see it over the trees, and yeah, it's a little distracting. But the book also, side note, that keeps changing the date it's going to be coming out on is A Night In with Grace Kelly by Lucy Holiday, the third book in A Night In with series by Lucy Holiday, which I just said is the third book in the series, or the trilogy, that's what I meant to say. And I'm really excited to read it. I just really just want to read it, but it keeps changing the dates. I don't know what to do about that, so I just got to keep waiting and be patient. The next book I ordered was The Lovely Reckless by Cami Garcia. I really loved the Beautiful Creature series, which Cami Garcia co-wrote with Margaret Stoll. And I heard this was a really good contemporary. It looked very interesting. I didn't read her other series that she came out with, which I forget the name of it. But this one sounded really... I'm pretty sure it's a story... I know what the story's about because I read the synopsis before I bought it, but it's about a girl named Frankie who's haunted by something in her past. A reckless mistake forced her to leave her privileged life in the Heights to move with her dad, who's an undercover cop. She goes to a new school. And then there's a guy named Marco, of course, and he's a street racer. And that's kind of where the story goes off from. I'm not 100% sure, too much of the synopsis because I did order these, a month and a half ago. But I really wanted to read that because I'm intrigued. I've heard a lot of people talking about it. The next book I picked up was Coming Clean by Kimberly Ray Miller. And this is actually a story of... This girl's actually a blogger, I believe. And this is actually her memoir, if I didn't mention that. This memoir is really focused on Kim, which is the author of the book, and about her, parents. I don't know if it's her father's. Her father struggled hoarding. It says in this moving coming-of-age story, Kim brings to life her rat-infested home, her childhood consumed by concealing her father's shameful secret from friends, and the emotional burden that ultimately led to an attempt to take her own life. In a beautiful prose, Miller sheds light on her complicated yet loving relationship with her parents as thrived in spite of odds. So it's a story about recognizing where we come from and the relationships that define us, and about finding peace in the homes we make for ourselves. And I found this to be really interesting. I haven't seen too many shows on hoarding. I've seen, some episodes and some scenes from stuff like that. But I think it'd just be interesting to see, a child's effect, the effect of a house of a child living in that environment and having to conceal, a secret like that. So I thought it'd be interesting, and it was in bargain, so decided to pick it up. The next thing I picked up was Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. This is actually a play, and I was just thinking of movies I was watching, and I remember watching a teenage drama queen with Lindsay Lohan in it. I think it came out 2003 or 4, and they were performing the play Pygmalion, and it kind of I always think of that play because I see them performing, and it sounds interesting. Never really read it, but this book was on, I think, for $4, so I decided to pick it up, and it's actually a play, and I cannot wait to read this. And I think I'm going to use this like kind of as a school book that I bring, because it's very short, it's very small, will fit in my bag and not be too heavy. I'm really excited to get to that. The next book I picked up is quite a popular one, and it's Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. Don't know how to pronounce her last name, really sorry about that. But this book sounds really good. It's a book of poems about this girl's life and her journey, and it's been getting a lot of praise. You probably heard about this around on BookTube. I don't read too many books of poetry. I used to read more when I was younger, and I really do love the art of poetry, so I thought I'd give it a try because it has been getting such critical acclaim. It's not just like it's contemporary poetry, which I've read a lot of like older poetry, especially with school and stuff, but even in my own time, because that's what my library stocked. So it's kind of why I didn't really venture into contemporary poetry, and I don't even remember if there's a section for that. I have a very small library branch near me. The next book I picked up was Lucky Girl by Mei-ling. I hope I pronounced that right. And this is basically a memoir about a little girl who, I believe she was born in China, and she was adopted by American parents, so she grew up in the Midwest. And then later on in life, her parents, like her biological parents, are trying to contact her about something, and there's lots of family secrets. And this is actually a memoir, and this is another like nonfiction pick, but I was really interested in reading memoirs about people who are not necessarily famous. I don't know this girl's life, maybe she is famous, but people that aren't necessarily always in the spotlight, like I can't even think of anybody right now, but like I want to read a memoir about like real people, not that these people aren't real, but like people that you don't hear about all the time. Like, for example, if I was going to read a memoir on Kim Kardashian, like we know a lot about her because she's always in the media, but people that are not as known, it's very interesting to see into other people's lives. That's kind of the thing I was going for. The next book I'm really excited to read, and it's called Invisible Monsters Remix by Chuck Palahniuk. I hope I pronounced that right. I haven't read any books by this author. I know he's the author of Fight Club, but this book sounds really good. You can read it in different order. It's kind of a confusing synopsis. The synopsis is pretty long, but basically it's time to hit the road again with our revealed narrator, pill-popping Brandy Alexander, and their charming and handsome male sidekick. But I'm going to read, I think, the little synopsis of this quickly because I can't really explain it in a few words. So it was originally inspired as a work that would echo the vogues he read while going to the laundromat. Chuck Palahniuk had wanted the chapters in Invisible Monsters to break the normally straight lines of fiction and bounce around as did the articles in fashion magazines, so you can read this book in a different order. He wanted the novel to be a little unknowable, and as a new author, he ultimately gave the book a linear structure. Published as his third novel, it was written first. In this revised edition with a new introduction, the reader is invited to jump throughout the book to read the chapters in different arrangements. Intertwined are new chapters, some featuring the characters in the book, others recounting events in the author's life. As Palahniuk knows, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. The story remains daringly unpredictable. A fashion model has just about everything, a boyfriend, a career, a loyal best friend. One day she's driving along the freeway when a sudden accident leaves her disfigured and without the ability to speak. From being the beautiful center of attention, she becomes an invisible monster, so hideous that no one will acknowledge she exists. Sorry if I was reading that a little bit fast. I just filmed my amateur's book review, and my voice is kind of wearing out, and this box is tilting to the side. Oh no. Whenever I have a box that's tilting to the side or something with books in it, I always feel like it's a boat and we're sinking. Anybody else? Probably not. The last book in this book haul is Hausfrau, probably pronounced that wrong, by Jill Alexander Espon. This book was on bargain. I was thinking about getting it before, but I wasn't 100% sure. Then I saw it marked down, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the leap. I didn't want to buy it full price because I wasn't 100% sure about this. I've heard mixed things about this book, but it was very popular, I believe, last year or the year before. It has a very beautiful, shiny cover. This is basically about a housewife that gets into some trouble. There's lots of stuff going on in her life. She has affairs. She's falling apart inside. She's adrift and increasingly unable to connect with the emotionally unavailable Bruno, her husband. And she just kind of goes off the deep end, and all this stuff starts to happen. Not 100% sure all the specificities of this book. I don't want to really read too much into it, and also I don't want this video to be so long reading all these synopses. But yes, that's basically my book haul. I'm really excited to read all these books. I really just want to read them all now, but I'm going to have to pick and choose because I don't have a lot of time. If you guys thought any of these books sounded really interesting and want me to kind of move any of these up the priority line, I can't promise anything, but definitely let me know, and I'll try to see if I can push one of these farther ahead if you want me, for example, to read Invisible Monsters sooner because you want to hear about it. let me know, and I can try to do that for you, because I really want to read all these books, so it doesn't really matter too much to me. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.